Hi, I'm Justin. This is C5 Dev, where inspiration is a chain reaction. In this video, we're going to be looking at API testing within docker-polyglot-world. Since the application is an API, it's going to be easy to test the different implementations of docker-polyglot-world. I'll be referencing the docker-polyglot-world repository, and you can find the link to that in the description below. With that, let's get into it. So I'm at the repository website, and it is at the API testing section. And the two tools that we're going to be using are Postman and Newman. So first, let's go to the websites and just see where you can download these. So here is the Postman at postman.com. That link will be also in the repository in the Inspired By section. And then the other tool is Newman, and that can be found at this github.com Postman Labs Newman. I also have that link in the Inspired By section. I'm in VS Code at the API testing part of the README, and I have already installed Postman by following the instructions on the website. So I'm going to switch over to that and then show you that I have already put in this Postman collection JSON file, and I'm going to import that. I have Postman installed, and I have the Scratchpad version, so I'm not logged in. And then what I want to do is import the collection JSON file. So I'm going to go to this import button and then go to upload files. That file selected, you'll see it's Polyglot World, and it's a Postman collection version 2.1. We'll go to import. With that collection imported, I can expand that, and you'll see that all 6 implementations are added here. I can then click on those 3 dots and choose Run Collection. And it's going to run one iteration across all languages, so I'll run that. The test stopped with a 0, on Python. Let's go to the view results to find out why that is the case. And it says an error occurred, so I'm going to click on Postman console and expand these. Error refused. Oh, that would probably be because I do not have Docker Polyglot World running. So then I'm going to go to my terminal and actually start that with Docker Compose. In my terminal, I'm going to run docker compose build. With that up and running, I'm going to go back to Postman and try that again. Back in Postman, going to go and click on the Run Again button. And there we go. Going to switch to View Summary so I can see. So now each of those ran successfully. At the summary results, you can expand the results to see which test passed. Here you can see I have 3, and those 3 actually apply to each of the implementations. So to find the definition of those tests, you'll go and click on the collection and then go over to tests. And here you can see that I've defined those 3 tests, and they use JavaScript to describe that. And then that gets applied across all implementations because it's at the collection. To show what happens when you get a failure, I'm going to go back to Polyglot World Test and then switch back to the code. In VS Code, I'm going to switch the Python implementation and have this say, hello Justin. And then I'm also going to switch the Dino implementation, and I'll switch that to be the same. Go in here and say, hello Justin. Then go back to terminal. I'm going to stop Docker Compose and then start Docker Compose again. That up and running, going to go back to the Postman. Postman, going to click Run Again. And now you can see that both the Python and Dino failed at the greeting. I can go into View Results, and there I get the details. Postman is a really nice way to set up a bunch of API tests that you want. It gives you the nice interface to be able to describe your tests, do the JavaScript changes. But when you want to continue to run the test after you make changes to your code, it's a little bit easier if you could have access to a CLI or a command-driven implementation of it, and that's where Newman comes in. So let's take a look at Newman and see how that is different and also the same as Postman. All right, back at the README, I'm going to go to the Newman section under API testing, and I want to use a Node.js dev container because I'm actually going to be running this npm command to install Newman. So let's go up to where we have our Node.js dev container definition. Gonna grab that. Gonna go back to my terminal. In my terminal, I'm gonna paste that command to start up my container. With that started, I'm gonna go into VS Code and attach to that. In VS Code, I'm gonna choose attach to running container and then select the Node.js one. That opens up another instance of VS Code, but is connected to the Node container. So then I'm going to scroll back down to the API section in my README. And let's see, next command is npm Newman. So I want to copy that and install that on this container. With that now installed, I'm going to run the Newman run command, and then I'm pointing at that JSON file that I used before to import into the Postman. When that completes, you can see the details. So I still had those changes in, and I had just instead of world, and you can go up here and see the summary. So out of all those assertions, there are 6 implementations, 3 tests in each. So that is 18 assertions, 2 failed. So I will go back and fix those. Change that back to world. And same with the Python implementation. Go back to my terminal and stop Docker Compose. And then I'll start it back up to rebuild those changes. That up and running, go back to VS Code, and then I'll run it again. The last thing I wanted to show is that, go back to the README, Newman can actually run one of the specific tests, so per implementation. So I'll collect and grab this. And for instance, we're going to run the Python example. And then this is the number of iterations you want to run. So by default, I have 1 in there, but let's just say we want to run it 5 times. And there we go. So 3 tests times 5 runs, 15 assertions. It's pretty nice in that it has average response time. So if you want to start a performance test, I think Newman is a good step in that direction. That's a quick introduction to API testing on docker-polyglot-world. In the future, there may be additional tests as we dig in a little bit deeper, but for right now, I just want to get you started with that. If you liked this video or found it useful, do give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, click on that subscribe button to see more videos like this in the future. Follow me on Twitter for any updates. The link to that is in the description below. I'll see you in the next one, and thanks for watching.